Do you have any specific topics that you have thought up that you wish to talk about?
Thinking of starting with because I just came up with some stuff.
I was just gonna. I never really ever have anything specifically to talk about. I'm very much just in the moment. Um, so if we didn't have anything, I was gonna take it from leaning into the first half of our last conversation, but instead of sticking on to the Ghibli movies, I was gonna lean into like anime and stuff, and we could talk about anime and stuff.
So I guess kind of going on that, one of the things I had on my list of like things to default to was Kingdom Hearts, which isn't really
Okay,
anime,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's along those lines.
Video games is a good one to go into, and Kingdom Hearts matches with that perfectly.
Yeah, because Kingdom Hearts is like the only game that's really stood the test of time. That and COD for me.
Are you actually gonna play this coming week with Law? Are you gonna
Yeah,
do
I
a
mean I don't know
playthrough?
how much she's actually gonna play
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
but the goal is the
Uh,
plan is
It's
to
you
play
play
it.
and she watches.
Yeah, yeah. Because when we played it at your house the one time, I had her try to play just the opening where you're walking on the broken glass, and yeah,
Some people's brains just don't work with how video games.
yeah,
It's like something with the hand-eye coordination and then the way the brain like deciphers what's happening on screen.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Because quickly it was her playing, and then I started playing, and just like talking about it, and then I was like, well, this isn't fun. Like I want to like more engaging, so we ended up playing Smash, me and her, because
Mm-hmm.
then we could play on that. She could just press buttons, but even that, it
Yeah.
was just kind of her pressing buttons just aimlessly.
Uh,
But I mean, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is definitely. I mean, you are who got me into Kingdom Hearts, and it's like
mm,
my biggest obsession. I would say, like like art style. I'm not even playing it honestly, because like I watch stuff on it and just like consume Kingdom Hearts stuff significantly more than I play it. I don't think I've ever fully beaten one of the games. Like I don't think I've to completion beat the first or second. I've played the first and second a decent amount. I've yet to even touch the third one because I'm like stuck on wanting to play through them in order before I
mhm.
start the third. Which at this point I should just play the third because I'm just avoiding it to
Well, if
not.
you know the story of the first two, like if
Yeah,
you know the story well enough, don't stop beating them. Don't let not beating them stop you from playing the third one.
Yeah, because there's worlds like, I obviously I've seen stuff like the Big Hero 6 world. I've seen like I want to play it, um, but every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, I gotta finish playing the other ones, and like and I started because I was on a good flow with because I got them on Switch,
Mm-hmm.
which is annoying because you can only play 'em on Wi-Fi. But even that, it was like I'm rarely somewhere that I don't have Wi-Fi, so it doesn't run into the problem. But then I wanted to start playing them on PC, but then I had to completely restart, and that like threw me off because I was like, oh, dude, I just played through this whole beginning on one again. Now I got to replay the whole thing again. Um,
Yeah, that's a rough.
yeah, but I mean, I have the whole shelf dedicated to Kingdom Hearts stuff, the games. You saw the cards? I showed you the
Yeah,
cards.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got
yeah,
more Kingdom Hearts stuff than me. And I always figured that I was the big Kingdom Hearts nerd.
yeah,
Come to find out,
yeah. It's
you're way more than me.
yeah, because it's like, and it's not even like I said, it's not even playing. Because I fell in love with it not even from playing the games, from watching you play the games. I just
Yeah,
enjoyed
yeah.
watching it. And I think that's why I also like now, like I'm not like dying to necessarily play them like when I'm super into it. Like I probably watched all the opening scenes from 1, 2, and 3, like that opening montage and song. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like I listen to those as if they're songs. Like
It's
put
iconic.
them
It's super
on.
iconic.
Um, yeah, so I think kind of from getting introduced from it, from like just watching you play it almost and not
Mm-hmm.
playing it myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just the aesthetic of it and everything about it. I just got super drawn to, and then kind of like the anime shit. It's like the storyline. Like I identify with story. He's like it's just a dude who just like wants to be with his friends and just like
Yeah, the story's really good, and you like when people hear about Kingdom Hearts, they don't realize the story is so like. Sorry, I got distracted. I just realized the light's over top, and it's way better lighting than last time. Um, People don't like realize the story is like super about friendship. It's all about
yeah.
like the beginning of the first one, Sora's looking for his friends, but then you kind of get lost in the sauce of everything else that's happening.
Yeah, the worlds and Disney
Yeah,
characters.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You don't realize that throughout all of the games, the underlying story is friendship because
yeah,
it's like Sora with Riku Kairi, and then it's Sora and Donald and Goofy, and then Mickey and Riku, and then you go to different worlds, and then each world plays into like the story, the Disney story of each world,
Hmm.
but it always kind of comes back to like the friendship
Yeah,
element, which is
yeah,
super super cool.
yeah. It's also I didn't pick up on it. It has like hints of like kind of religious a story, the whole like battle of dark and light. Because
Mm-hmm.
even just in the first, however little bit me and Law played, we didn't even get off the first island. Um, and she was pointing out like, oh, it's like a battle of like dark and light. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
like has real like biblical like
Mm-hmm.
undertones of like fighting the darkness and using the light to push it out. But yeah, all the worlds go back to just like friendship, and I like
Well, most Disney movies, if I'm remembering correctly, kind of revolve around friendship. Usually it's like a small cast of characters and they're all like friends or their family members and they like go on an adventure in one way, shape, or form. Like Lilo and Stitch, Ohana means family. You know,
mm,
like it was a good match for movies to be added with what Square Enix had in mind for the storytelling of the Kingdom Hearts franchise.
it's wild to me that it's even like I feel like Disney's such like a they have such a stronghold. They're so like tight on their IP. The
Hmm.
fact that something like this was created, it still blows my mind. Like I said, I think I forget someone said I was watching like a retrospective on like how the game was created and like the Square Enix people and like convincing Disney to let them use the characters
Hmm.
and it just it's wild 'cause I don't think there's anything like that. I'm trying to think of any examples besides like Smash that has like different IPs and stuff kind of in it
Yeah, nothing comes to
to
mind for
not
me
be
either.
such like a Disney game.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
And
technically, Kingdom Hearts is a Disney IP.
yeah,
It's
it's
not a Square
Disney.
Enix thing.
Yeah.
Square Enix just made the game. But I think you're right. Maybe one or two lesser known games out there have
Hmm.
something similar, but nothing really. No game to my knowledge hits with no other like major game company or game itself hits like a massive entity as Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, and has it like in like not even incorporated into it. It's like that is like you literally go into Disney worlds and it's like one of the few places you can get kind of Disney you can see Disney outside of Disney created like things. Like you can
Yeah.
literally walk around a Disney world.
Mm-hmm. I think. Oh, I think that when because Chris, our brother, showed it to me when I was really young.
I remember you getting, I think, the second one for Christmas. He gave you it for
It was for
Christmas
my
or your birthday,
birthday.
and you played it nonstop for like 2 days straight.
Yeah,
Like I have a vivid memory of you like
my,
getting it and playing it nonstop for like 2 days until you beat it.
yeah. My recollection is I was real little. It was after. It was some time period after when we were little. We both slept in my room. I had the bunk beds in
Yeah.
what was my room, and then you got the other room. It was shortly after you went to that room. Chris stayed at the house. We were all real young, and Chris was in my bedroom, and I had a TV and like GameCube or something, and he was playing Kingdom Hearts 1,
Mm.
and I was supposed to be sleeping, but I was like watching him over the edge of the bed, and I thought it was super cool. I thought the graphics were cool. I thought the character designs were cool, and then it was Disney Worlds,
Yeah.
and then the next thing I really remember because we were so young is it was my birthday, and I guess I had some. I wouldn't call it. I don't think I would call it an obsession, but I don't really remember. But I had a liking for Kingdom Hearts, and Chris knew somehow, and he got me the second one, and he got me like the guidebook, that thick ass
Oh, I
guidebook.
remember that book. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He got them for me for my birthday, and it was like one of the family parties mom would throw because it
Mhm.
was, and Christy Uncle Bill,
Yeah,
all of them
yeah.
were at the house, and then because Christopher was there too, because I remember playing the game and Christopher watching me play Kingdom Hearts 2, and I just sat down and played for like, I my recollection is I sat there and played for 12, 13 hours.
Yeah, it
In
was
reality, it was probably a little less than that. But I played and like the whole game. I can recall playing pretty much the entire game, and then I guess I beat it, and then some time passed, and then I remember Chris got me the first one, and he got me the book for the first one
mm,
after he gave me the first one, but then I never played through the first one. The first one's harder than the second one, at least mechanically. I think
mhm.
when the games came out, and the initial like controller scheme of the games. Like the first one's camera
Yeah, the first one's
controls
like
were
mad
rough.
janky.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
trying to play them back now, it's so janky. But just the nostalgia wins. But yeah, I'm like yeah, like I said, I'm not even like super obsessed with even playing them. Just like I love just watching gameplays of it. The opening like the opening sequences are like
Mm-hmm.
the most iconic things to me. Um, and just like the art style, like I said, like I something about Sora, just like the wardrobe,
Yeah.
everything about that is just so cool to me, and I don't know that that is probably the only I'm trying to think like Studio Ghibli stuff. Obviously, there's stuff on the wall with Studio Ghibli, but yeah, like something about Kingdom Hearts. Like to this day, I still be posting Sora. Like I'll repost Sora stuff like on Instagram because like
Yeah.
that shit is like
Well, him as a character, like individually, like his values, his morals, like what he stands for. It's like everything that's like good, right? You
yeah
can almost like draw like parallels to characters like Goku or
yeah
like Link in some. I'm looking at the wall, it's just kind of
yeah
jogging my memory, but like it's true because like Sora's like friendship and he's like all
yeah
good and blah blah blah, and then like Goku's the same. He fights for the weak and he fights for the ones who can't fight, and
yeah.
it's this element. Maybe it's like an Eastern culture thing.
Mm,
I'm not going to say that the Western cultures don't have it. I would say that it's shown less um, for whatever reason.
mm.
But I think that like really rings loud for the young male audience.
Yeah.
So when, not everybody, obviously, but when there's an exposure to it, for those that it really rings and resonates with, it
Yeah.
really rings and resonates. Like, because you can carry like Sora in the first game is like 12, and then in the third game he's supposed to be like 17 or something like that, right? So he's a teenager throughout the games, but like regardless of how old or young you are, it hits. It
Yeah.
just always
Yeah,
hits.
because it's a state like the ideas behind it, like the morals you could say, like just translate to
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, and then just going on like he's just all about like a similar thing with Goku where it's just he's so like dead set on this one thing of like just friendship and getting my friends back and just wanting to just be with his friends and shit like that. Like I think that's why I really fuck with Goku in it because he's just so like I'm just gonna be the best at this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something about. I mean, going back to kind of partially of what we were talking about last week with the anime thing, I think that's part of the reason why I personally gravitated towards Eastern content. I'm gonna just classify it as content, whether it's movies or TV shows
Mm,
or games or whatever, is because I think that they really lean into certain values that resonate so well. Like,
mm,
and again, I don't think that the Western content creation sphere really like emphasizes it very much. They don't
yeah,
like sit around the topic of it that much.
yeah,
Not to say that it's a bad thing, but I think it's more detrimental that they don't lean into or push on those values as much as Eastern,
yeah,
like because you can look even as things that are small like lesser known manga or manhwa, or you can look at like uh, cinema, like movies, how Hollywood is for America.
yeah,
The same thing, but in I'm gonna stay primarily with Japan and maybe Korea because I think China is not as big. But like their movie scene isn't that big, but their anime scene is way bigger. And even when you look into the what is depicted in those movies and stuff,
mm,
it's really it's like the same stuff as you see in movies and
yeah,
anime and as you see in games and stuff. And I think even like it probably goes to how they're born and raised
yeah.
and like
Like yeah,
family values they have.
yeah. It's definitely more important than I feel like in America.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think the difference is like obviously America like American stuff has that, but I feel like I guess like use your the Eastern stuff. It's like the driving force of the story is those values. Where it's like other stuff will or American stuff will just have kind of like this character will have these values, but it's just a trait of the character, not necessarily like what like Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
The story is driven by Goku wanting to be the best and having these morals and care about these people.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom Hearts, the story is literally driven by Sora wanting to be with his friends and connect his
Mm-hmm.
friends again. Um, and I think that's what makes those things like connect more, especially with like kids and like when you watch it younger. Like there's more to connect with than just like connecting to like the plot of the story, like this problem and then resolving here versus like it's just like you're almost looking into like a window of this. I don't know how I'm trying to articulate like the game or the movie, whatever it is. Like Kingdom Hearts is just a window into this like this overarching thing that is like connected to like the friendship, where like American movies are more just like I don't know, like it's like just kind of flat. It feels like almost it's like this character, oh, he's here to serve this purpose for this, like
Yeah.
to fulfill these tasks to complete this movie. Where the other stuff like Dragon Ball Z, it feels like you're just on this journey more,
Mm-hmm.
and like like yeah, you just connect more because of the values the people have, and they like you said they spend more time building out like the values of this person.
Yeah. I always took it like where my hit brain always went to when I would like think about this and comparing Western and Eastern content creation. Generally, like you said, in Eastern stuff, it's more on the forefront, and on the Western side, it's more in the back end.
Mm.
So like on the Western side, it's more on the back end of things, and like not to make it sound more politically or whatever. Um, I don't really know where it stems from per se, but it's almost like I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say here. It's like it's not because it's political, but because of the way it is, it almost seems political. Like
Mm.
like in Eastern cultures, there's always been from the very young to the very old, from the beginning of time to the end of time. It seems that um, there is such an emphasis on family and like sticking together, whether it's Japanese or Chinese or Korean, or you can even look at like people in the Middle East, like just to name off the top of my head, like Iran or like Egypt or Pakistan or like these other countries.
Mm.
The family unit generally stays as a family unit, whereas in like when you get away from the Eastern values and you go more into the Western values, there's less of a family unit value that is
Yeah.
held onto throughout the longevity of everyone's individual life and the collective span. Because
Yeah.
if you like, if you take the idea of we're gonna go back like maybe 3 or 4 decades, like the American dream, the way that my perception of what other people's perception of it is that it's like I was born to my mom and dad. We live in a house together with the white picket fence. And my goal is to become an adult, get a good paying job, move out of my parents' house, get my own house,
And
start my family,
yeah.
and replicate that. But in Eastern cultures, it's I become a productive adult. I stay with the family in one way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. We build our family wealth and
Yeah.
dynasty or whatever together. And then once we get to a certain point, then we can expand and like branch out more. Whereas like it's always seemed to me that the American ideals is like individuality. Where like
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think that it
It shows in the media for
yeah,
sure.
and I think it's a little bit more harmful, at least in earlier stages of life. And
Yeah.
then like I think it breeds negativity mentally in a lot of I can only speak for the males, but I think it breeds more negativity through the male audience than the females. But like as you go through life, because you always have this like thought in your head, it's like, oh well, I have to do everything on my own and asking for help.
Yeah.
They're gonna look down on me and I'm not good enough or what all these
Yeah,
other
I gotta
things.
like I gotta be my independent. I gotta be my own thing. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
supply for myself and this and like yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's versus yeah, like the other cultures have a very much more. I mean, you even see it like in Spanish cultures and
That's a
everything.
good
Yeah,
one. Yep.
yeah, it's a very the whole family unit. They're all
Mm-hmm.
together
They're tight
and
knit. They stick together.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I also started noticing like, when I was dating Billy and going to family dinners. Usually they
yeah,
do it once a week, every other week, and like the grandparents would come down, the aunts and uncles would come from Pennsylvania,
yeah,
and they would just get together once every week or two, and they would just hang out, eat food, catch up, and then everybody would split.
yeah.
So it always seemed like it was always I always liked that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels more like your friend group is your family. Obviously, people
Mm-hmm.
have their own friends from just work or like life, and you have your own friends
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But in those other cultures, like your real core friend group is your family, your cousins, your
Mm-hmm.
aunts, your uncle. That's like those people you talk to every day. Where being raised American, it's like at least like I mean, I talk to our cousins when we get together for holidays, but it's not
Yeah.
like they're like my close friends. They're like any like aunts and uncles. Like the close people are like the direct people, you and
Mm-hmm.
mom, and then outside of that, grandma and grandpa slightly less, and then after like past that,
Yeah.
it doesn't really it doesn't carry over as much. Which I mean, that's why I brought up to mom trying to do like the family dinners, even
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
us and grandma, just to keep that like try to build that tradition because
Just
I'm
some of us
like Law
together.
brought that up to me one like she started trying to do that with her family, just even just her mom and her dad just direct just
Just get sitting down
yeah
together.
just to have that because yeah because I mean it's like you're almost given this like friend group at birth
Mm-hmm.
and like not nurturing that and kind of just going out on your own, like you said, like kind of independently. Oh, I got to do all this stuff,
Yeah.
and you almost like lose that. And I'm just trying to keep that. I like that's where I like we've been trying to do the family dinners more, just to keep that more close knit.
Yeah. When mom mentioned to me that we were gonna start doing family dinners, I thought it was a great idea, and it was whether it was your idea or her idea or whoever's
Yeah,
idea, because like I was not a big fan. As I was getting older, I started to notice more how little of my family I know. And
hmm
like I've used this example talking to mom and grandma in the past, maybe even with you. Like I know the guys here. I've spent more time with the guys here. Me, not you. Me.
yeah,
I've spent more time with the guys here in the last year and change than I have, not counting grandma and grandpa, than I have with the rest of our family in probably the last decade.
yeah,
Because I see our cousins maybe 3 times a year for no more than 6 hours at a clip. And then I see mom's cousins, our second cousins, once a year if I'm lucky, for like maybe 4 hours. So like they're family. And when we were little, we got together, I think, a little bit more than we do now.
yeah.
But like we never were given the opportunity to like
Build
end
friendships.
the relationships with them.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because it's just it's the default like we're related, so we know each other and like
Mm-hmm.
hey, what's going on? But you're not like don't build that friendship the same way you build just from being around other
Mm-hmm.
people. Like you said, the guys here and everything. Um, yeah, which also kind of like yeah, like I don't like kind of connecting it to like building a business, for example, like having to find people to build it with versus like having a culture where you're all together. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's why I feel like there's more like family businesses in these other cultures and Eastern
Yeah,
cultures
yeah,
and
yeah.
Spanish cultures because it's like these are these are the people you're talking to every day and you're seeing and you build these things together, which is
Mm-hmm.
why like I kind of like that like you've been around more and just been involved more because like that's what I want. Like
Mm-hmm.
jokingly it was like getting you to be here was my excuse just to see you more because I'm always
Mm-hmm.
here. But like if I'm gonna have if I'm gonna like need people around or in this thing that I have to see every day anyway, why not try to make it be my family that I'm or like it's already the people that I want to be around, I want to see more,
Yeah.
and like just trying to implement people more into it. I mean, even like just extending outside of the family, just like my friends I grew up with. Like I tried for so long, like just trying to find ways to implement them in and do stuff with them because it's like I'm gonna do this thing so much. Like these are people I'm already close with. Like let's build it.
Yeah, might as
Um,
well try to bring them in with
yeah,
you.
exactly. Yeah, but I don't. Maybe it's just like you said, like the mindset of like the American mindset of like, oh, but I have to build my own thing and build. It's like we like let's all together as a unit build something together because then we just get to be around each other and then we're not all individually having to go through this like I got to supply for everything I got to do it and we all can do it together as a unit.
Yeah, I think that for a long time it was kind of like propagandized to the American audience, just at large, to like everybody just go and make your own and.
Yeah,
Um,
which I mean that kind of I guess that kind of goes with the whole like the pushing that narrative. Not that it was intentional, but it kind of feels sort of intentional from like if you have a strong unit like you like America is like the culture is built on needing workers. They don't want people creating, they don't want a bunch of Elon Musk or people creating stuff that is
yeah.
powerful. They want a bunch of people who are just going to be cogs in a machine because that's how it runs. And when you have the strong family units, it's easier to have these things that you can build these things up versus
Mm,
training the mindset of like you got to go start your own and everyone's trying to start their own. It doesn't build things as quickly
mm-hmm.
versus getting people to come together and like create things so they can grow quicker.
Yeah, and the I think the point came back that slipped away is like I think part of it, whether this is like intentional or not by design, that's a completely different
Yeah.
topic point. But I think that part of it also is like most, I'm gonna say Americans, but I think most of the world falls under this umbrella, is they don't they don't understand statistics,
Mhm.
but they don't understand like the numbers behind it all, like the math of it all. And the reason why I am specifically stating statistics is because is the very obvious one. Like if you look at how the credit system works, if you look at how finances work, it's all based off of statistics. And even when you look at like actual statistics, the way you can understand them is by understanding how statistics works.
Mhm.
Um, and most people don't understand it, right? So like when it comes to like if you lean specifically on the finance part of um, Western and Eastern differences in this family culture, we'll call it, right?
Mhm.
Um, when you look at the Western side, like the American stuff, it's on paper it's supposed to be it's like the same across the board, but we are very linear. Whereas if you look at in the Eastern side of things, it's more exponential there. And what I mean is like I have a house and I have a fortune. And then when my kid becomes an adult, now they have to go and get their own house and their own fortune.
Yeah.
Whereas when in Eastern cultures, it's like I have a house and I have a fortune. Now my kid is work age, right? He can get his own job. Now instead of him paying rent and taxes and all these other
Yeah.
things, he could stay where he is. Only one of us is paying the
Yeah.
whatever it is, and it doesn't really change that much. But then instead of like now he gets to bring in his own,
Yeah.
and instead of it being like if I make $10,000 a month and I pay $3,000 in taxes, I'm bringing seven home. And then if you're doing the same, you're bringing seven home. But if you stay here, I'm bringing seven home, and now say you don't have to pay that 3,000.
Yeah.
Now you're bringing 10. That's an extra
Yeah.
three that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So you can put that in places like in this conversation, my brain is immediately going back to a conversation that Andrew Tate had months and months, maybe a year or two ago, maybe 3 years ago, where he was talking about like he was giving an example about when he was in uni or something. He knew a bunch of dudes. He knew this guy who pulled up to class in like a Ferrari or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember the
I
specifics.
think I know what you're. Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, like, what do you like? How do you afford this?" And the guy pretty much explained like me and my brothers and my father and our family
Yeah.
all live in one big house, and like it's all of our vehicle. Like it's $100,000 vehicle. I didn't make $100,000, but I made 20. He made 20. He made 20. He made 20. So on
Yeah.
and so forth. We bought the vehicle as a family unit. Not all of us are trying to drive it all at the same time. So like it's Monday, the car's sitting in the driveway. I'm gonna go to class. I'm just gonna drive the car. No one else is gonna drive
Yeah.
the car. I'm gonna drive the car.
Yeah, it's more of a like a snowball, like a compound
Mm-hmm.
thing, like you said with the statistic. It's more of like
It's an
the
exponential.
unit is like a compound thing, and it builds and builds and builds, and like a mindset, like the just a lack of a better term, like the American mindset or whatever the like mindset is like not greedy might not be the word or like, but it's like growing. The focus feels more on like I need to build myself up to be the best versus building the family name. Where like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
other cultures focus on you're just like a part of building this. The goal is to
Yeah,
build the
yeah.
family to be the most wealthy versus like just focus on oh I got to be the most wealthy and like I'm the most wealthy or like
Mm-hmm.
and focus on like you said if we all do it together and then we like it's only one rent we get a bigger house and then we all are and then it's like it's exponential like you said that's a great way to put it. It's like a compound snowball effect of like
Yeah.
I as a father you build this and your kid has a base to start on and builds from it, and then he has kids and they build, and it like
Mm-hmm.
over time, like you said, it exponentially grows versus another family who like the dad grows to here, and the kid starts from here, and then oh he might get a little farther, but then his kid is going starting back from zero and
Yep.
growing up and like building
Yeah,
something
because
and
then after like ten generations, if you make $100,000 in your lifetime, for example, in 10 generations, you're lucky if they can make 1 million.
yeah
Whereas if you stick together, in like 3 generations, you'll make 1 million.
yeah
It's like night and day. It's crazy difference.
yeah, and I mean yeah that's I mean that was kind of like that's what I've always like in myself like building wave change. I'm building this thing, so then when I have kids, they have something that, even if, let's say, they're not into wave change or doing it, there's a base, a company that runs, they generate this money, so then when they start, they have this base of
Mm-hmm.
something that they can start with. It like, where I feel like a lot of, like, I don't know, maybe successful, I don't know anybody personally, but it's like a view would be like, I build wave change, and then I have kids, and it's like, well, I built this, now you got to go build something, like, you got to, like, learn and build something on your own, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just,
Yeah, and not to say that you shouldn't push that.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
you should have them learn stuff and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
forth.
but it's not like I built this thing so you don't have to do anything. It's you have a base, so then
Mm-hmm.
when whatever wave change, your version of wave change, whatever thing you want to build, you have a better base to
Yeah,
start it,
yeah,
and you can
yeah.
grow faster. And then your kids have double a base, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can grow
yeah.
even faster. And yeah, I think it gets like stunted when you run into like one of the generations goes, oh, I don't have to do anything because I have all this stuff. You got to instill the values, those same values of working as if you don't have it, but you have these resources to
Mm-hmm.
be further along.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to use it as like a. You use it more like a safety net. You don't use it as
Yeah.
like a like a life plan. I guess would be
Yeah,
a way
it's like, oh, I
to
don't have to do anything because I have this. It's like, oh no,
yeah.
I like you have to go find your thing that, like, whatever, like, if it isn't necessarily exactly one to one, let's just use wave change. If it isn't wave change, if you want to go, all right, I really want to start the biggest flower company in the world. It's like, all right, let's figure out how we can leverage what's built from this to help you grow that, not just rely on this. Yeah, or just capital, like you said, like even just money, and you translate it over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a compound thing, which, like, I mean, yeah, that to me is like the way. I mean, even just looking, just the smarter way to do it versus having every generation
Mm-hmm.
start from scratch and have
Mm-hmm.
to. Which, I mean, shout out to, like, even just having our Italian ass mom that was like, she'd be happy with me just or us just living in her house the rest of her life. Like,
Yeah, she wouldn't have cared
yeah,
whatsoever.
and just kind of like building off that. Which, I mean, she kind of has similar values to that, where she's always told me like she's like kind of like the silent investor in wave change from even from the beginning, just
Mm-hmm.
buying me my first camera, and then, oh, I need help with this, and just kind of
Yeah.
help it, and like, so it's not like, oh no, you got to figure it out on your own, like, figure it out, but like, if you need help, I've built up this so I can, like, she even said it, just like, I'm trying to think, when even just like break the back windshield,
Yeah, yeah.
when we broke the back
When I
windshield of her
broke the
car.
back windshield,
And
that was me.
I sent her the money to pay for it. Like, a month later, she sent me the money back, and I was like, you didn't have to do that. Like, I figured, like, I made sure I could figure it out to send you the money. And she was like, well, no, I can afford this expense right now.
Yeah.
You can't, like, so I'll take that on. And like, that's similar, like, that's along the lines that we're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
where it's like, where in one line you could have been like, no, you got to figure this out and stuff. Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I've built this thing. Like, she didn't immediately send me the money back or tell me not to pay for it,
Yeah, yeah.
because she even said it. She was like, I know now that, like, you were able to figure it out, and like you learned from it,
Mm-hmm.
but let
Yeah,
me help
yeah.
out with that.
It's a good learning experience.
Yeah, to not immediately be like, oh no, I'll fix it. So you don't
Yeah.
learn that value, but still using that
W
net of like,
mom.
I built this thing. Yeah, facts. W mom. Shout out to you, mom. But like, yeah, teach them that same value, but then still, like, I've spent all this time building this thing up, to then, so you don't have to run into these same roadblocks. It's kind of like I always like there's a Mr. I'm sure I've told you before, where Mr. Beast talked about when he was early, there was like 5 of him, like him and his friend group.
Mm-hmm.
They were all the same way, and then they would just, when one of them ran into a problem, they'd share it with the group. So then, instead of 5 people all heading the same roadblocks
Oh, yeah.
and going at whatever speed, it's 5 people, like, oh, one person hit this roadblock, the other 4 never hit that roadblock, and then one of them hit this. It's kind of that same concept, just with the family unit.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
mentioned that with how you guys run
yeah,
things
like,
here.
exactly, yeah, like, and instilling that concept that I've kind of instilled here, like, trying to
Mm-hmm.
do it
That's
here with,
super
like,
smart.
but in the family unit, it's like, like, the cliche thing is like, I gave up my dreams so my kid can have theirs. It's like, doing that, like, oh, I gave up all this so I can build up this, so
Mm-hmm.
we're good. So then you could chase your dreams, so I can help you support yours. And then when you have a kid, it's 2 people backing and supporting the next. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not the selfishness of like, oh, I built this thing, my kid needs to build his own. It's almost like a selfish thing, where it's like,
Yeah.
I spent all this thing and I built this thing up. Like, you got to go build your own thing. It's like, no, I didn't build this up so Corey Hallam can be the best thing. I built this up so Hallam can be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best, and then the next person's gonna grow, like, continue growing the Hallam. So then that's how you end up like with like usually like a dynasty. Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
China, that's why Chinese dynasties are so big because it's not about the one person. The one person's in
It's the
charge right now.
family.
Yeah, the head of it is in charge right now because they're leading the ship. But then the dynasty gets passed on to the
Hmm.
next person to continue taking that ship and like the mindset of yeah like I like that point that
Yeah,
we
bro.
kind of
Like,
got to where it's like not focused on you, it's focused on growing the unit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, if you're the captain of a ship and you die, do they just sink the boat?
Yeah, that's
Like,
yeah
they
exactly
don't.
yeah
They get a new
yeah
captain.
yeah, and it's like focusing and like it takes to not have the ego to do it because comparing it to like doing it here, it's like the
Yeah.
same thing where it's like I could easily like if I found a roadblock and I got through it, it would be easy to like selfishly and because my ego be like, oh no, Steve, like you got to figure that out because if I tell
Hmm.
him, he'll move quicker than me and surpass. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that ego of like you having to be the person versus like I don't care about me being the best. I
Hmm.
want wave change to be the best,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
taking that same thing with like the family unit.
Yeah, and it goes back to the beginning of the topic of it's just some shift, some difference between Eastern and Western culture. I would say it's a culture thing.
Yeah,
You know, like it I mean, America has always been way individualized,
yeah,
like through a lot of it, through like the revolutions and like industrial booms and capitalism. Capitalism's a big one, but it's funny because capitalism works really really well when you stay as a unit
hmm
because it's exponential. But it goes back to but I guess it's kind of like why certain people resonate so well with again, I think it's why a lot of young males resonate so well with specific stories and specific characters. Like even if you step away from like um what's it called? If you step away from like Eastern cultures
hmm
and away from like anime and samurais and you look at even just like old stories of Rome or like Homer and the Iliad and stuff, like it might not be leaning into a family value, but like a lot of the core values of the characters in these stories are like noble and honorable and
yeah,
they're like fighting for values and these like morally good things. And I think in a lot of stories from like Greece and Rome, the characters usually end up dying and stuff. But the journey that they take and like they'll go on a voyage and they're on a ship and they have their crew and then like the crew is their family essentially. And, like
yeah,
they're not actually family, but they treat them like family.
yeah,
Like I'm gonna say pirates, but I don't know if that's a good example. Like pirates on the pirate ship would like be essentially a small family. They're
yeah,
a crew. They if one of them decides, oh, I'm just not going to do my job today, then the boat doesn't go.
yeah,
Like things don't run.
yeah,
You know, but
yeah, and it's like I mean, yeah, it's like a going back to like, just like an exponential thing of like having the mindset. I really like that. I'm definitely gonna think on that more of like the whole the the exponential of take like take the ego aside of you having to be the best, like
mm-hmm,
the number one. It's like the number one should be whatever the unit you're trying to build, whether it is with the family or it's a
mm-hmm,
company or whatever. Like the like taking the ego aside because all that does is stun. Like for that'd be like comparing to like the pirates. Like that'd be like the captain be like, I'm the captain. Oh, I'm gonna do everything so everybody knows I do it all and I'm the man.
yeah,
That ship is gonna function a lot less smooth or a lot less efficient
mm-hmm,
than a ship where it's like everybody plays the role. Like there's a captain who has to steer it. There's like everybody and everybody's just equally as important in the thing.
yeah. He built his crew in a way where like you can look almost like not to go from one example to another. Like if you look at construction, there's the project manager, and then there's like the different companies have their own like foreman. So like the
Yeah.
electricians have a foreman, the plumbers have a foreman, the carpenters have a foreman. It's not the project manager runs every person from all of the different teams. It's the project manager is running the project, but all of the foremans answer to the project manager, and under the
Yeah.
foreman are different crews that
Yeah.
answer obviously to the project manager, but they answer to the foremans who answer to the project manager.
Yeah.
So like the project manager doesn't have to walk around and being like, all right, welders, I'm with you today. this is how we're doing it, and then he's gonna weld for the entire day, and then the next day he's like a pseudo electrician or a
Yeah,
plumber, and so on.
yeah. Every aspect, like we talked about last time, every aspect gets full attention.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. It goes
Yeah,
exactly
and
to what we were
then
talking about last time.
yeah, and then kind of like connecting that with like the family unit, doing that in the family sense of
Mm-hmm.
like every aspect, but and it's like exponential because doing it that way, the company inevitably grows more than one guy who's like, I'm not gonna hire anybody, I'm gonna be the electrician, I'm gonna do this. Like, yeah, you could do that, cool, but like you're choosing the ego just so it's known that you do everything, that you're sacrificing growing this thing bigger, quicker, and benefiting more. Like by doing that, where it's like having every aspect be focused. Like I'm kind of all over the place
Yeah,
with it,
yeah, yeah.
but like
I get what you're saying. Like the ego is what kills it all.
yeah, yeah,
It's something that I don't think everybody's able to do. Everybody has like the
yeah,
potential
yeah,
to.
and it takes. I mean, it takes a lot of work. Even like saying all this, there's times where like I have to check my ego of like no, I want to do like even
Mm-hmm.
just simple as I'm used to like I work with an artist, I have a concept, I shoot it, I edit it, just taking the ego check of being like, I could do this, and then I go at that whiteboard where it's my edits, Steve edits, Jose's edits. If I do that, my edits are like this, just out of the ego pride of like, I want to do it all, so it's known I
Yeah.
do it. Versus like, I'm, I am not like, the focus shouldn't be on me being the biggest thing. It should be wave change. It's like
Mm-hmm.
having everybody do different stuff. We all grow, and the benefit from the I get inevitably in the beginning and in the short term, it's not as big as like, oh, I just do it all. The recognition, it's like we can all get so much more recognition from building the unit to be the biggest
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Because like
Because it's like, oh, that's Steve from Wave Change.
yeah,
That's Jose
yeah,
from Wave
exactly.
Change.
The one person who just wants to do it all just so they like from the like, and this isn't to say some like this isn't anti somebody who just enjoys doing it all and isn't doing that. Like there are people who just want to do it all and like that's fine. But in if the goal is to be the biggest thing or whatever, the ego using having the ego hold you back where I need to do all the things just so I get the recognition of doing it all. In the short term, you might get more recognition. Oh, you edited and directed, like, but like if you build this thing where it's all these aspects and everybody's a part of the machine, the bigger the company will surpass the biggest like the one person who's trying to do it all. Inevitably, this company that has a tons of people or like enough people on every aspect growing it,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get way more recognition in the long term,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, because you'll build this thing that can surpass the person who's just doing it all on their own. Because inevitably, like the person who's doing it all on their own, they're getting the recognition now where it's like I'm trying to get like person like just use you as an example. Like you're like just so we can like Leland does it all on his own. He shoots, directs, edits is all on his own, and then wave change, I direct. Steve is DP. He makes all like he focuses on the camera work. Jose is gaffer. Initially, Leland's getting all the recognition, where Corey, because he's in the system, is only getting this much recognition. But Leland's only moving this much because he has to do every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Where wave change, it's like, oh, we move like the steps are moving, we're moving quicker. So you might get it initially in the
Yeah,
beginning,
yeah.
doing it all your own, but building this thing together, it's like we can grow, do bigger things quicker and bigger and bigger, and then inevitably it'll surpass because we can do even just black and white. Like using that example, the Leland who gets more recognition initially because he does it all himself can only do 2 videos a month because he has to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Wave change can do 30 videos a month.
Yeah.
Inevitably, over however much time, wave change will have way more recognition because we can do more. We're in more places. We're doing bigger stuff because we have more more of a system, or not more of a system, but more like while I'm writing the next treatment, Steve's editing this, or while Steve's writing a treatment, I'm editing. Like we're doing
Yeah,
the two
yeah.
tasks at once, where this person it can only do one task at a time. Where wave change, 3 tasks can be done at the same exact time,
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of correlate that back to the family unit, where it's like you have a dad who can do, well, you have a grandfather, a dad, and a son who are all doing the same task at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like this guy who's only going like this because they're all doing the same task. Where you have a family unit where they're all helping each other out. Oh, I like the grandfather has already bought the house and has been living in the house, So rent's paid. So now the dad can focus on doing this aspect, and like they're doing 3 tasks at once.
Yeah.
Like it's the same concept, just whether it's with a company or a family, and
I think to kind of help finalize that thought
yeah, because
of
that was all over the place.
yeah,
I hope that made sense.
to help finalize and structure that thought, I think it's like if you were to put me versus the 3 of you, right? Leland versus Wave Change. Not only do you guys do 3 things for every one thing I do, I have to split my attention. So you're not 3 times better than me. You're
Yeah.
closer to 9 times better than
Because
me.
each thing's not getting full attention.
Yeah. So if I'm doing 3 things, and if there's 3 things on the list that each group has to do, I am doing 33% on each to make
Yeah.
100%. And you guys are all doing 100% on 3
each
separate
thing,
things.
yeah.
So if you go like from a 0 to a 2 on the first one, and I go from a 0 to a 3, on the second one I'll go to a 4, and you guys are gonna go to a 6. And on the next one I'm a 5, and you're going to like a 9 or a 10. It's like it's massively exponential.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that kind of connects to, like you said, the exponential of having like the value of having a good unit, whether it is like we said, like in business, which we're talking about now, or just in a family unit, whether it is just buying a house, retiring, like a unit that is a family unit that's all together. I think the age one can retire, quote unquote, I think is lower than somebody who's trying to do it all on their own.
Oh yeah,
Somebody who starts it from 0 and is just doing everything on their own, they're going to retire, let's say, at 80, versus a family unit that it's like the grandfather built this base, so the father can focus on building his base, it gets his job, and his money is not being split into rent. It's being invested into something. And now the son has this investment that the father has did. He's not building rent and has the like it's exponential, and like kind of had to end to that point, but I guess that was it. But yeah, it's the value of building good units versus letting the ego be like, I have to have, like, I built this thing. I mean, it probably translates in like the family unit. You kind of go where some parents are like, I built Wave Change. I built Wave Change. You got to go build this thing. And it's like that same mindset that like I could have, or like somebody building a company could have with like we'll just use the example, like I could have towards Jose, where it's like, I learned all this stuff. I spent my time. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like some parents probably have that. It's like, I spent my time and I built this thing.
You got it too.
Like, and it's like that's like, it's one thing to have that with like building a company, and it's like these are just like people, but like to have that mindset towards your kid is crazy to me.
That's
it's like
so crazy.
Yeah, like because I'm
fuck you, kid.
That like I'm sure that like I know that exists. I can't think of an example, but like I know that exists because it's like that's why this whole mindset is built, probably like the.
Yeah, I think it comes from a lot of things, but there's for sure, whether it's directly like that, where it's like the both parents are in the picture, and we'll stick with that, and the dad will be like, no, fuck you, son, you got to build your own, blah blah blah. Or sometimes also it goes into like, well, maybe the dad or the mom's not around, so they don't even have the opportunity to say yay or nay to the child. And then obviously like that's a little bit of a different situation.
Yeah.
But in those situations, you try to gravitate towards the positive side of things, and you like look for friends to do stuff with you. Like there's ways around it if you really try. And even if you get kicked every time every time you fall down and you keep getting back up, at a point you'll get to a point where the kicks are what bring you back up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it's like if you get every time you try, you get knocked down, you get kicked and you get knocked down. It's like it kind of just like goes back to, I think we talked about in the first time we were talking, but like I can see how it's easy to get discouraged from that. Like, let's say you don't have the family unit and you are started from 0, you find friends, you get fucked over. It's like at a certain point, a lot of people will probably be like, well, I tried 10 different things, or I tried 10 times, and every time it's in a failure, I give up. I just always go to my mindset of like, because like even me, like there's times where I'm like, like I'm just gonna give up. I've tried, like I've been trying to do Wave Change now. Like I just went back on my YouTube and I've been making videos. I started my first YouTube videos posted 2012. So what is it? 13 years now? 2025. 13 years now of nonstop. At least one video created a week for 13 years now.
That's crazy.
And it's easy to be like, well, I've tried all this, like I give up. And then I don't know where I picked up the mindset of just like, I get where it gets discouraging and you want to just give up, but it's like you're gonna be alive, like, unless you're choosing. This is a big pivot, I guess, but unless you're like, like, are you just gonna, like, for lack of a better term, just like blur, mute
Yeah,
that? That isn't good. Mute that part. But like, are you gonna unalive yourself? It's like, because if not, like, I'm not saying you should, but like, ideally you're not. It's like you're gonna have to live anyway. So why, even if every time you try until you end up dying one day, every attempt ends up in you getting kicked. It's like, at least there's a the door is open, or like there's an opportunity for one of them to work, versus the person who's like, I got kicked 10 times every time. I've tried 10 times, or I've tried for 10 years, every time failed, never worked. It's like, by just giving up, you're like like you stop there ever being a chance for it to work, or for it to, versus like, if you spent 10 years, nothing worked, why not? If, all right, let's just like use round numbers. I'm gonna live until you live until you're 80. Why not keep trying until you're 79? Like, because at the moment you like go like, oh, I like the moment you like look backwards and go, I've tried X amount of times, it's not gonna work, I give up. You just guaranteed it not working. Like, you just confirmed, all right, it isn't gonna work, because you just closed the door. Versus like, why not just leave that door open? Like the well, this might be a wild analogy. I'm gonna try though.
Okay, good luck.
You, the person who like, let's say the opportunity is just a person walking through your door, and you go, I've been waiting for 10. I've tried for 10 years different things to get somebody to walk through this door for 10 years. I give up. It's not gonna happen. By you making that point of like, I give up, you're closing. You're building a wall in front of the door. Nobody could ever walk through that door.
Yeah, I see your
Versus
point.
like, why not leave that door open? It's like, if you're gonna be alive anyway, what, like, if you're saying it's not gonna work, I hope I can bring this together. You saying, oh, it's not gonna work, I've tried for 10 years. In that scenario, it hasn't worked. You've been doing something for 10 years and it hasn't worked. Nobody has come through the door anyway. So why make the permanent stance to make it like, to be like, no one's gonna come through the door, I'm gonna make it impossible for someone to come through the door.
You're just
If
gonna
somebody,
shut that door
nobody
forever.
came through the door anyway,
Just leave
if it doesn't
open.
ever, yeah, if it doesn't work out, if you go your whole life and it ends up never working out, like, it wouldn't have worked out if you built the wall and you said you gave up in the beginning anyway. So if anyway it's not gonna, if it doesn't work out anyway, why not just indefinitely try?
Yeah.
Because worst case scenario, you're in the same place as it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're still like, obviously that's not good. Like, it didn't work out. It's still negative, but you're in the same place as if you just.
Yeah.
But on this side, there's
You're not
an
kneecapping yourself.
there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
This is I'm gonna make another analogy, which is like, this is terrible and this is terrible, but you'll never win the lottery by not playing the lottery.
Yes.
Don't use this analogy for actually playing the lottery, but just for
That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to play the lottery.
Yeah, this isn't me saying like, oh, you should go play the lottery every day, but the lottery of life, let's say, it's like,
you can't win it unless you're in
yeah,
it.
it's like somebody who is buying, who plays or buys scratch offs every day. I've been buying scratch offs every day for 10 years. I've never once won. I give up. I'm never gonna buy scratch offs again. Versus the person who, I haven't won in 10 years, but I'm just gonna keep buying scratch offs and keep trying, because like, that person has the opportunity to win.
Yeah.
The person who gave up doesn't. This doesn't go to winning. I'm talking like, use scratch off in place for whatever your goal or dream is.
Yeah, you're taking a near zero chance to an actual zero chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a better way to put it. Yeah, it's like,
it's a non-zero chance, and you're turning it into a guaranteed zero chance.
Yeah. By choosing, like, because right now I can go wave change. I can't supply for a family off wave change. I've been doing videos for 12 or 13 years now. I just give up. I'm gonna give up on it. Versus, well, it hasn't it hasn't done for 13 years, but I'm gonna keep trying, even if like the level of trying, it's like, all right, for like, as of now, I've been able to put all of my time and like been able to somewhat afford my life off of it now. Even if you have to shift a little bit, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go get a job, but I'm still gonna, on my 1 hour break, I'm still gonna try. Even if you have to lower your percentage of trying to 5% compared to 100.
Or like taking on other types of work
Yeah,
and stuff.
whatever it
even
is, like,
periodically.
never close that door, like, because
Yeah.
closing that door, you're like you said, you're guaranteeing it to not happen. Versus
Yep.
like, I think some people look at it like all or nothing. It's like, oh well, it hasn't worked for 13 years. I give up completely. I'm gonna go. Like, I'll just use me example. Wave change hasn't worked after 13 years. I give up completely. I'm gonna stop making videos. I'm gonna stop pursuing this. I'm gonna go get a job as a plumber, just as an example. Why make that harsh, like that, like black or white, where it's like it didn't work for 13 years. I'm gonna guarantee it's a 0% it doesn't work. Versus like it hasn't worked for 13 years. I need more money. All right, I'm gonna go get that job as a plumber. But when I have free time, even if it is only an hour a day now, I'm
Mhm.
still gonna try because that's like going to the scratch off example. It's like right now I'm able to buy 100 scratch offs a day. It isn't working. I ran out of money. I have to go get a job. All right. I'm only gonna go to buying one a day. At least there's still
Yeah.
there's still a chance of it working.
Yeah. I mean, to stay on the
That took
family
a
topic,
huge pivot.
that was crazy. To stay on the family topic,
Yeah,
but
we
to
could-
kind of like slightly shift to a different point that I want to address when it comes to like
Mhm.
family stuff and whatnot is and it's gonna lean kind of much to our last conversation, because I'm gonna use one of the buzzwords, but at least in my opinion, the only reason to ever step away from something like that is if you actually lose the passion for it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can always come back to it and everything, but the slight shift that I want to lean towards, using our buzzword passion here, from last week, is I think that it's really whack when specifically your family, but it can be really anybody.
Mhm.
They choose to not share their passions. Okay,
Mhm.
and as people get a little older, sharing the passions, if the passions aren't, if you know, if you're a big painter and I want nothing to do with painting, you don't have to share your passion per se, as deeply as I'm going to kind of like allude to through
Uh-huh.
this expose.
Yeah.
But especially when you have young children and stuff, it's not forcing them to do stuff, but it's like people only learn when they're taught about things, right? And what better to teach, your children, than what you're passionate about, right? So like, I'll use our father for example. He was always very passionate about deer hunting, but he never really shared his passion with us. So that's probably the biggest reason why none of us ended up being hunters, right? Because like, looking back on it from where I sit, I think being a hunter or any parts of the skills involved with the hunting, I think would be cool. Like, I even was having some thoughts recently, probably 3 months ago or so, of like picking up archery again,
Mhm.
because I always thought that was one. I think that's cool. I think like the whole archery thing's cool. But then two, like, we grew up watching Dad shoot
Yeah.
his bow and arrow, like just practicing his
Yeah.
archery because he was a bow hunter. But doing that, like, so like, not to shut on Dad, but he never shared his passion with us. Like, it was always there, and we were
Yeah.
like around it because he would bring us
Yeah.
around. But there was no sharing. Like, but then like again, another example. Stick with our family. Not to poo poo on Grandpa here, but it never, at least up until more recently, he never really shared his passion with us.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective, it never
Yeah.
seemed like he really, like, he would talk about it
Yeah, we knew he
sometimes,
was into art,
and he
but
would like
wasn't.
bring it up and stuff, but he never really like shared it with any of us.
Yeah.
Maybe when we were real little, he would do like little arts and crafts with us,
Mhm.
but like, I feel like there was no like
Yeah.
sharing of the passion.
Ready? Using Dad as the example with archery. I think it was because I agree 100%. And before I make this point, to connect it to the exponential thing, Dad was super passionate about archery. Was really good. Was a really good hunter. Had he shared it, whatever more, think like we would have started as skilled hunters
Oh yeah,
farther than right
we would.
now
I
with
would've
with
been
you right
crazy.
now. Apart from him passing away and not
Mhm.
being here to do it,
Yeah, true.
you're starting at zero from learning it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if we were ingrained with it, your skill set would have started at whatever percentage higher. And it's like
Mhm.
the same thing. It's exponential. Like if he would have shared his passion, it would have.
Yeah.
Um, but kind of maybe with like the American culture, using dad example, I don't know much with grandpa. With dad, like I think the reason he didn't like, because it's a fine line between sharing your passion and being that parent that forces this thing on you. I
Okay.
think it's a fine, like there's a fine line between those two things. It's like sharing your passion and like forcing your kids into this. And dad, from everything he always told me,
I see where you're going.
his father was into football and stuff, so he hard pressed football on dad. I know the story. I've heard it so much from dad where
Mm-hmm.
our grandfather, his dad, literally took him to football. And if Poppy happened to see this one day, yo,
What's up?
so
Making a porno. Come on, baby. You gotta go out that way.
you got a maze to get out now, Jeej.
Come on, baby.
If you can find your way. Yeah, she's gonna try to scratch herself.
Come on, baby.
You gotta go that way. You gotta go that way.
This way. Oh, come on, Gigi.
The muscles are working. There you go, dude. There you go. I'll call you when I'm done. But just going the fine line between being the parent that shares your passions and forces it. Dad was raised from, it might be wrong if Poppy, he's never going to see this. If Poppy happens to learn to use the internet and sees this. If this isn't true, I'm sorry. It's all I know. His dad was related to football and forced football onto him. Dropped him off there and forced him to be into it. Luckily, Dad got into it. And I know for a fact that bothered Dad to where he went so far opposite where he was like, I want my kids to be fully on whatever they're into. So I maybe internally that turned into Dad being like, he's into archery. I don't like,
Yeah.
and it made him not share the thing. And that's where that's my point of like, there's a fine line between being and like, he probably didn't know how to like, he didn't want to be that. So he was the opposite of that. So he didn't share, like, obviously he shared, like we would go to like in the woods with him. And if we would have brought up like, oh, I want to hunt, he would have been all over it.
He probably would have been all over it.
But I could see how internally he would have been like, I'm not going to push it on them because I want them to be into their thing.
Yeah.
But I agree where it's like, you should share your passion because like the only way we would know we're not into it is by doing it. And I think it's a good, that's a good, and to a certain age, I don't know what line, and like, I guess it isn't an age thing. It's more of like when your kid shows interest in something or not. It's like, you should almost force them into activities so they can know whether they'll like stuff or not, and they can find their thing. Kind of like, I can remember mom and dad, it was like a thing when we were kids where it's like, you have to play at least one sport a year.
Or an instrument.
Or an activity, like an instrument, or doing one activity a year. And I think that's, like, at the time as a kid, I thought I hated that. But looking back now, it's like, oh, that's really good because it forces them to find their things. And it's like,
yeah, try things.
Going on that thing, I am, to your point, now looking at it, I wish it would have been like, they would have leaned into their passions. I don't know what mom's passion is apart from dogs. Sorry, mom. I mean, but dad using hunting as his passion. When it was like, you have to do one activity a year, if dad would have leaned harder on, your activity can be hunting with me because he's educated in it versus like just go try random stuff and find stuff. Like if you're like, make them do activities so they can find themselves, but lean into the activity being like, I'm really into art. So when I have a kid, I'm going to kind of do what mom did. It's like, you have to do one activity until you show me enough. I think it stopped, at least for me. I don't know. Like when I showed interest in something in art and videos, that it was like, okay, they have an interest in something when they find the thing. But when I do that with my kids, or a form of that with my kids, my passion's going to be bred into them. And it, to a certain extent be forced on them until they show me I'm not into this. Not just I'm a kid, I don't want to do stuff, kind of not into this, but like, genuinely, I'm not into this, I'm into this
like
thing.
I have my
and
whole
like,
other
okay,
thing
cool.
I want to do.
You're into this thing. Okay, cool. Then like, but yeah, like sharing, like, because it's building that, like you said, that exponential thing where it's like, in the ideal world, my kid is into art and into the same art I am, because then it's like we said with the hunting, my kid, he is into art and into videos. Now you get to start with all this knowledge. You have this expert, not saying I'm an expert, but somebody who's higher in knowledge than you are right in your household. So why not like grow on that? And yeah, I think that's a good point you said of like sharing your passions more for even just for that reason of like, I mean, yeah, I've always like grown up and like grandpa has always been my like inspiration because he's the first artist I knew. Like you said, he might not have shared as much as he does now, but it's always just, I've always known as a kid, it was like me and grandpa.
You've been aware of it.
Me and grandpa are the art people in the family.
Yeah.
Daniel was like the next closest thing I could picture. But like in my brain, it was like grandpa was the artist of the family, and like, oh, into art. I always looked up to grandpa, but I feel like, yeah, like had he shared it more,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't make it sound like negative on him, but had it been
Yeah.
shared
It's
more
hindsight.
or like pushed more on me, imagine my like I would maybe would have picked up other stuff earlier,
Mm-hmm.
or like versus like, oh, you're into art, that's dope, I'm into art too, and then we're both like the same thing, I'm running to the same
Individually into
roadblocks
art.
he would
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
um
I agree that it's to a degree a fine line, but I don't actually think it's. I don't think it's actually as fine of a line as
uh
you probably think it is, and I think most people think it's a very fine line.
mhm.
I think I think that we throw around me and you, yeah, in our conversation, but I think just in general, um, I think we throw around the words of like forcing our kids to do things and stuff when in reality that's not what is happening. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak on that,
Yeah,
but I think logically speaking, it's more we need to use like if we could shift our vocabulary to using the word exposure as opposed to force, I
mm,
think that will get the point across more.
yeah,
Because if you have children and and you are forcing them to do things, it sounds bad. But if you change your vocabulary to I'm exposing them to a bunch of different activities, like the kids are not going to know what they like until they get exposure.
yeah,
And are you going to be the one that exposes them to stuff, or are you
yeah,
going to wait till they get exposed from the internet or some
yeah,
random, why do kids in high school become drug addicts? Why do they become potheads or
because they're
alcoholics?
exposed.
Because they're exposed to it, right? So like if I'm really good at the guitar, maybe my kid will be exposed to it via proxy. But if like every time I sit down to play the guitar, if I'm not like in like a jam session where I'm really trying to like focus, I'll
Yeah,
bring the kid around. Maybe I'll put like a baby guitar in their hands so that they can like mimic, like
yeah,
exposing them to it,
yeah,
sitting down with them, like forcing them to learn
yeah,
some frets and stuff, like some chords. Then they can decide if they like it or they don't. And
yeah,
it's not like a black and white thing. It's a spectrum. It's like I
yeah,
like it, but I'm not going to sit down and practice every single day. But I will, play around with it every
yeah,
once in a while.
yeah,
And then they can like, oh, well, maybe I'm a football guy. Maybe I like basketball. Maybe I'm a dancer. Whatever it may be,
yeah,
you have to expose your children to things.
yeah. I think, yeah, and then and to kind of now give dad some leeway, I guess, on it. I wonder if it's partially in tote to being or the parents being divorced and us spending more time with mom, because it made me think how like
True.
just on the exposure thing when you said that, it made me think about I'm such a dog person and so into dogs and like understanding of dogs because we were so exposed to them from mom,
Mm-hmm.
because that was her passion.
Mm-hmm.
And even later in life, but with the fostering and just her love for dogs, even from like even Grizzly and early Riley, like I am such a dog person because only reason because I was so exposed to
Yeah.
them compared to like being interested in something else. And it's like I wonder if that's just we would have been exposed more to dad's interest had we been more with dad. Where when the times we were with dad, I could see how he's like, this is I only have XYZ this little bit of time with my kids, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna focus on just spending time with them and not
As opposed to,
necessarily
yeah, yeah.
like I'll do my hobby or my interest when
Mm-hmm.
I'm alone and I only have this much time. So
That's a very
I'll
good
give him
point.
some grace on that.
I didn't think about that too much.
Um, but yeah, I think that's a good point because it's like if in the world where it's like as a parent we're gonna for now, like force isn't a bad word in this context now. I'm gonna force my kids to have to do one activity or one thing every year until they have an interest in something, so they
Mm-hmm.
like even just so they're not lazy, not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Like obviously give them a choice if you want. If like is there something you want to do? If they're not sure, pick that for them, and in the early age, make it the thing you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
If they ever express to a certain point, it's like, no, I'm not interested in this. I want to try this thing. Cool, then try that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is like in the beginning when it was like you got to play one sport a year, I know at least for me personally, I have no interest in sports. It was like whatever sport, like soccer,
Yeah.
whatever, because I have zero interest in any of it. Had it been like, all right, if there isn't one that stands out to you that you want to do and you have to do one, I'll just use mom as an example. I'm into dogs. All right, your activity is going to be coming to the foster with me. No, she
Yeah,
wasn't doing it at
yeah.
the time, but like
Yeah,
coming with
I
me
get what
and
you're
doing,
saying.
or like my kids, it's like you have to do one activity a year. You don't like, there isn't one that's standing out to you yet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're going to come and do this art with me. You're
Yeah,
going to do,
yeah.
and forcing that one activity on them and make it the activity you're interested in, not in the sense of like this person's got to be like me, but from the sense of like if they're gonna do an activity anyway, why not make it an activity that you have knowledge in? It's like I'm not forcing my kid to make their activity be art or videos. Use that example, videos, because it's like I'm trying to make the kid like me or live vicariously through them. It's like I'm forcing it because they're gonna make they need to do an activity and I have knowledge in this activity. So in the chance that this activity is something they're interested in, now they get to start with this base. Where in the realm of like they need to do an activity, my like I'm gonna afford like all right, go play basketball. Mom has zero knowledge of basketball.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting from zero the same way she started zero from hers. It's like if they're gonna do an activity, have it start with the things you're interested in because on the chance that that is what they're into, they have going back to the exponential thing. They get to do this. Oh, I am really into videos. Like perfect.
Yeah.
Help grow this thing.
When I guess mom was the one who really said it to us is you have to pick something to
Yeah.
do, an instrument like once a year, blah blah. Um, Sitting now in hindsight, I wish I never stopped doing the guitar lessons because I I I would say my love for music borderlines your love for music. It might even surpass yours in I think in more like pinpoints.
In different aspects of it, yeah. Because I think you're way more into like I'm more into like the message behind like I don't like instrument like you really like
Oh yeah,
instrumentals and
yeah.
you love music
Oh
where
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love music but because I resonate with the lyrics and the message behind the lyrics.
Yeah, like not to go on
You
a
play
tangent about my obsession with music, but like music as a whole, like the art of the music.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I wish I never give that up. I would love to learn instruments, but that's massive undertaking that and my ADHD brain can't do it. But anyways, um, fuck, I was gonna oh yeah, um, a part of me kind of like resented. I'll say our parents, but I think it was more towards mom because it, our lives were at mom's house because our friends and
Yeah.
our school was at mom's, so we had more time with mom. So like a part of resentment was like building it for me with this whole like you have to do a thing. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
well, do you have to do a thing? Kind of like
Yeah.
that's where my brain like I was always
Okay.
playing that like devil's advocate, um, and yeah, I mean like I understand the idea and the sentiment of it where it's like you can't just sit around and do nothing, but then like I don't know, it just always felt forced to me at least. Like I hated it. Cuz
And
like you, I'm not a sports person.
yeah.
I mean now you go to the gym a lot and I do a lot of
Yeah.
running and stuff, which is so funny now. But and then like an instrument, I was like an instrument. What the fuck are you talking about doing
Yeah.
instrument? So like
I
being like forced
I
to sit
I
down, it
wonder
was an exposure in my opinion.
I
That was more forced.
wonder if even being forced, if we were forced, but it was things that oh like all the activities, the sports and the instruments, neither of our parents were like dad was into sports but not like basketball and soccer. We didn't play football.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder had it been the act like we're being forced, we still that way, but the thing we're into, like say mom was really into guitar and we're being forced to play guitar. I wonder if it wouldn't have been seen as so negative had our parents also been into that thing we're being forced to do.
I
Because it
think
feels so
100%.
left out, like you said, like instrument. Why the fuck you don't play
Yeah.
it? Like had it been like, oh, mom is really we see mom being
Mm-hmm.
passionate about this thing we're being forced to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't feel as a negative. I wonder if that and like maybe that's a good point to being like the activity you're forcing your kid to do being something you're passionate about because them seeing your passion makes it not feel as negative or being forced to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Like it
Yeah, I think 100% you're right in
had yeah
making
like
in
had
drawing that conclusion.
had the parent been into the activity, yeah.
Had mom or dad been like you have to do a thing, and it can be one of here's a list of things, and if nothing on this list is intriguing, here's what stuff that we like
Ready?
to do. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how they like if it was similar, but I'll just in what I just translated it to Uncle Bill and Christopher.
That's a
I
good
don't know
one.
if they had
That's a good
the
one.
same where it was like they had to do an activity, but Christopher, let's just say he was raised where he had to be forced to do something, and guitar was one of those. His dad was in love with the guitar, and now Christopher also loves playing the guitar. And
It's
it, like,
guitar, and they both know bass. I think they
yeah,
both
but
know the
like
drums,
the thing he was
and
into got was
yeah,
really
They talk about it. They
and
jam.
even if you want to
It's
like,
crazy.
you want to like just connect them both again. I'm like kind of to our point where we're not super close, so I don't know it's super in depth. But like even Daniel now with really being into plays, Aunt Christy, to my knowledge, is into plays. She goes to plays. She sees plays. The thing Daniel got into is something his parent is directly really into.
Also, to make a funny connection there too, Daniel is into like acting, and he acts and all this stuff and does plays and stuff. And Christopher is a stagehand, so they also have a massive shared thing in common. They talk about,
and it keeps
it's
like
crazy.
even if in the beginning, if let's say Christopher didn't want to play guitar or whatever, like, he didn't have an interest in the beginning. He might not have even not had like the same way we didn't have an interest in playing guitar right from the jump. Like I remember being for like okay, guitar or whatever. They might not even had that initial resentment or like hesitation towards it because their parent was into the thing. Had it been like you got to do an activity, do you want to go to the foster? Like again, mom wasn't doing it at the time, but like if you want to go to the foster, or like do you want your activity to be hunting with dad? Like there might not have even been that initial like feeling like we're being forced to do this thing. It's just like, oh, dad's into this thing, we're gonna do this thing dad's into.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I think us as being the kids in this scenario, we had no idea that was even a possibility or an option.
Yeah.
And like I would go as far as to say that our parents probably didn't even think about it this way either.
Yeah.
I don't think most people think about things in various ways like this unless you get to sit down for an hour and change.
Right?
And
Maybe everyone
just
should make a podcast.
think about it. Yeah, every parents that every couple that gets together and you're gonna have a kid, start a podcast, get out your thoughts, and then maybe you figure some shit out. Yeah. But what the fuck was I saying?
We're talking about having the same interests, or interest being the thing you're forced into, like hunting or like.
I don't remember. I feel like I was gonna make a point, and it's slipping me, but it's irrelevant. It's relevant, but it's unimportant. But
Damn, yeah, this one really turned into like a therapy session.
Yeah, well,
the other one kind of got deep, but this one got really
Yeah, well, I figured. Again, I if I have things that I want to talk about, then I'll like keep them in mind.
Yeah,
and
that's what.
touch on them.
And the more we do this, I feel like we'll build a habit of like.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, I think after a couple of weeks of doing it, we'll probably start writing.
And
things
eventually,
down.
it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna become like. We're gonna. I'll like get home to the house, and the same way we would like the one day we had that long conversation about you and Chris. It'll like we'll get to the house and we'll about to talk about this thing. And it's like. And we're gonna end up not talking at all throughout the week until we get here.
Yeah. See, well, I keep it like in my head. The way that it works is like I think I was mentioning it last week. Is like when I was at the tattoo shop, like this part of me kind of really started to like. I was able to let it develop when I was at the tattoo shop because I was put in a situation where I could do such a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I sit down, I never really have anything in mind, and then I just start going, and then the conversation just kind of rolls.
Yeah.
And whether it's like how I'm wired or what I've been through mentally and like physically through the last couple of years, so my brain rewired itself, whatever the reasonings is. A lot of the times in long format conversations, the conversation will almost always take a very deep turn.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, yeah, like that's
something about me or who I am or something like that. Oh, it just kind of like draws it out of people in conversation. Like, because you weren't around at the tattoo shop enough to really identify it, but like literally every fucking conversation that went past 15 minutes long turned into some pseudo esoteric, spiritual, connected, intertwined therapy session type of conversation. Yeah. And it's not so much of like me playing a therapist role.
Yeah, no, it's just what
but
the
it's
conversation,
like the connections that happen in my brain and then in the between the two individuals conversing, me and whoever it might be in these situations, it's you. It kind of like pulls back the veil that allows you to like have these thoughts and like kind of express them and like I don't know, kind of get into the deep nitty gritty. And it's also, I always thought it was like a very beautiful thing because people get very uncomfortable when you get into like deep conversations. And then so like it's missed on those people, and I think it makes me a little sad because I think deep conversations and like very uncomfortable conversations are some of the best conversations that can be had.
Growth happens.
Yeah. And then
internal and just
yeah. And then for those that do enjoy the conversation, it's almost like it's like a craft. It's like an art.
Oh
Like
yeah,
like the way that you see art when you're sitting down to do some art stuff.
yeah.
That's how my brain, like the
The
fires in your brain,
excitement, yeah,
it fires
in
in my brain
conversation, yeah,
once I know that certain topics are not off the table.
yeah,
If I
yeah.
sit down to have a conversation and like I know that like this and this are off the
Can't be talked,
table,
yeah,
I
yeah.
kind
It's
of
I mean
like what's the point of the conversation then?
yeah. I mean, like to your point, where you said like any conversation you had, it would be like 15 minutes in, it would get real deep. It's like the only conversations I think I've had in the last 10 years that lasted longer than 10 minutes are deep ones because at a certain point, it's like if it doesn't get deep, it's like this isn't useful. Not that
Mm-hmm.
everything has to be useful, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it,
You
it's
start
like
talking in
it's like yeah, it's
circles
like
and
doom scrolling on TikTok. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool for 5 minutes. You get some, but like you're not getting anything out of this, and it's like there's
Mm-hmm.
better uses of time. So like if it's not gonna be deep conversation, there's nothing against that.
Yeah.
But it's like let's just have our let's quick get to the point. Let's have our quick 15-minute whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
keep it pushing on to the next. Cause
I've always loved deep conversations. I mean, like even before I realized that I did, because like I spent a lot of time. I classify it as a lot of time. I'd probably say it's a lot of time. I spent a lot of time like going to grandma and grandpa's,
yeah, and just
and then
talking
like
to them.
I was never like really tight with grandpa, but I was always super tight with grandma. So I would go to grandma and grandpa's just by myself, and then I would just talk with grandma for
Yeah,
like I was there. I was taking a walk the other day. Actually, I was taking a run. And when I finished the run, I stopped at grandma's, and I sat down. I was gonna chit chat with them for like I don't know, like an hour, and then I left the house and I stopped by mom's on the way back to my house, and I was talking to mom and I was like, yeah, I was there for like, and I looked at my phone and I did the quick math and I was like, I was there for like 4 hours. I talked to grandma and grandpa for 4 fucking
yeah,
hours about I don't remember what, but it was like deeper stuff, you
yeah,
know, because like I don't know, I think it's cool because it gets my brain going about stuff that I have and have not talked and thought about because I'm just a thinker. I'm always thinking
yeah,
about shit. But then I also like feeling the energy of like in conversation you can see the look on someone's face when
yeah,
something clicks that never clicked before,
yeah,
and then like you know that in one or two conversations after this one
yeah,
something changed in that
yeah,
person where
yeah. It's
like
almost like a high,
it,
almost.
yeah, it like makes them more open. They're
Yeah,
like more willing to talk about stuff, not necessarily like no like
yeah,
I'm not gonna talk about blah blah,
yeah,
and then all
yeah.
of a sudden
But
they just start spilling their guts on
yeah,
stuff.
but
But it like makes people more open and it makes people feel more comfortable. It's like
yeah,
because a lot of times, in my opinion, a lot of times when people have conversation, there's a lot of like it's very surface level and there's a lot of like what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a lot of games being played behind the scenes
yeah,
where it's like you're trying to to test the water. Like
yeah. Say
if
the
I say
thing.
this or if
Yeah,
I bring this up, this person's gonna
yeah.
get mad and then the friendship ends and but this person's connected with these other people.
Yeah, and I
So now
can't
it's
say
really
this or yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah. It is like a game. That's a good way to put it. Like a game being played. It's
And
like
it's so
versus like
annoying.
a conversation shouldn't be. I mean, most of the times, the conversation shouldn't be like you're playing chess. Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
do it. Like it should just like you said, like just a natural, almost like a flow state. It should
Mm-hmm.
just be like that's the best way. It should be like a flow state versus trying to play a game and like consciously like yeah, like consciously having a conversation versus unconsciously having a conversation where it's like more a flow state where you say something and I'm actually listening to it and responding because it drew ideas out versus like
Mm-hmm.
I say something to you and I'm not really even listening to what you're saying. I'm thinking about the next thing I should say,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's just more like you said, it's just surface level. It's like just two things, kind of two people almost having their own conversations at each other versus like a
Yeah.
flow state where they're having a conversation
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Or like if you're playing this like dancing game, um, not to give specific examples, just because I don't think it's the best use of our time to give specific examples, but to give the umbrellaed example is like when you get into the the two biggest topics that are like it's like the two things you never talk about is politics and religion, right?
Yeah.
If you can identify early on in a conversation or your interactions with an individual that even if your opinions on stuff completely differ, as long as you guys can stay open-minded to just have the conversation, it's like it's just a conversation. Like
Yeah.
if I start expressing views that are different to your views, I might not even believe what I'm going to express to you, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to say it for the sake of the conversation
Yeah.
so that we can get through the conversation in a way that we probably couldn't have gotten through in just regularly.
Yeah.
Like if I bring it up and you start freaking out,
Yeah.
that's like it makes me really sad. It really it pisses me off, but like really it makes me sad because like you're like really shallow. Um looking at lights.
No, I was looking at to make sure the camera's
Yeah, this is red lights.
Yeah.
Um it's like a really shallow thing. And because like you could be super hardcore on X, Y, and Z, and I can have a very similar value. But then like just being able to like you might not really understand why you have these values. And
Mhm.
maybe if you were to expand your like knowledge on different
Yeah.
things, it might not change your opinions entirely,
Yeah.
but you can better develop your opinions on it.
Yeah.
This way, like if it gets brought up in conversation anywhere else, you're not left there not knowing what to say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't express like if you
Yeah.
can't express your basic explanation on anything,
Yeah.
like I don't know, it makes me sad. So like
It
being
makes you very
like
one-dimensional.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because you don't need to be
So being able to have these conversations and stuff is always been really cool. And then like my personal like guilty pleasure of like this right now, this podcast is like I've had these conversations with grandma. I've had conversations similar to this, not as deep like this, but with dad. I think my deeper ones started to happen like after he passed. Um, but then like I never had deep conversations like this with Chris because I think he's a very shallow individual. Not to throw shade, I just think that the way that his brain works is very shallow when it comes to things. He doesn't care about stuff. Um, but then like being able to have these deeper esque conversations or just wherever the conversation goes with you of all people, because I think that which is going to go to something that I'm going to talk about after the podcast. Is I think there's a lot underneath inside of you that doesn't get to like see the light of day for a multitude of reasons, and most of those reasons aren't negative at all, even though they might seem negatively. It's
Yeah.
like they don't come out because, say, for example, the people that are around, they don't like it doesn't like invoke these types of
Yeah.
discussions, or
Yeah.
like you're so entrenched in
Yeah.
like
I mean, that's partially
doing
why I
videos and
wanted to
these
have
other
I
things.
wanted to start doing this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're somebody who I identified that like we would get into like an hour long just random conversation about stuff that like it'd be deep in my brain, but I would never give time to because it's like
Mm-hmm.
so in pursuit of this other thing
Mm-hmm.
that it's like giving this forces me time to just have these conversations and stuff. And it's like I enjoy having them, but I being in the pursuit of this thing, I write it off quickly to not
Mm-hmm.
give time to it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool idea because like it's kind of the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
and like I say this to grandma a lot. I think I say it to mom sometimes, but like me and you growing up, I mean, we share both parents, whereas like we have two brothers that we only share one parent. So we like grew up together. We were
Yeah.
always at the same house. If we were at mom's, we were both at mom's. If we were
Yeah.
at dad's, we were both at dad's. We went to the same schools until high school. We went to the same summer camps. We like did all the same
Yeah.
stuff, but like we didn't really know each other.
No.
And then we became adults, and then we kind of got to know each other a little bit, but you were in so much your lane and I was in so much my lane, and there was not a lot of overlap that we kind of kept going in our own directions. And then like like you were saying a couple minutes ago, like having this outlet where like it's an excuse to like get to hang out with your brother,
Yeah.
and like now you get to actually know the person. Like
Yeah.
when I started working at the tattoo shop and then Dave got there, like it was a dude I never met before. And then all of a sudden I knew that guy more than I knew my brothers.
Mhm.
And like at that time, me and Chris we're like best friends. We play games every night for like a decade and blah blah blah. And then it's like I can make these identifiers, but then having this avenue to do it now with you, my full brother,
Yeah.
it's like super super cool. And like I think I see in you like the subtleties in you that I see in myself that are like really loud for me.
Mhm.
That kind of come from both parents. Like I can see the things that you get from mom and you get from dad, similar to like how I get from mom and dad. But it's things that like Chris is my brother, but I don't see them in Chris. Like
Mm.
they're like Chris doesn't care about anything and you don't care about anything. You care about what you care about, right? Whereas like it seems like Chris doesn't care about anything. Whereas like I care about what I care about, but then I'll care about other things that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Whereas like I can see the glimpses in you just through passing and through our interactions over I'd probably say the last 3 years or so. I'm
Yeah.
trying to do my math here. 3 or 4 years maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and then here, not I don't know how this will fit in, but to kind of like give an example when I found out like how deep law was with like the Bible and then like
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's Christian and Catholic and they're very similar,
Christian.
but there's and her like Christian faith and all this stuff, and then initially the little bit it was rubbing off onto you. When I found out that it was just barely rubbing off onto you, like that made me like super excited because at the time I was working at a tattoo shop still, and my spiritual shit was kind of going through the roof. So like watching that avenue kind of open up was like really exciting for me, and then as time progressed to present day, and like you know see like waking up sometimes and I'll see you sit outside or I'll see it on your story or whatever, like you woke up and one of the first things you did was sat down and you read a couple verses of the Bible or whatever, and like expanding your
Yeah.
esoteric knowledge and like because it's stuff that like I think is important for people to like you don't have to be a religious nut, you don't have to be a spiritual
Yeah.
nut, like but I think these thoughts are important because we're all humans. We're very unique compared to like the rest of biology. We're super different from trees. We're super
Yeah.
different from dogs and cats and deer and bears and all these things and it's very cool to watch someone that you're close to and that you care about kind of like take steps to like educate themselves but not in like the normal education.
Yeah, to like expand their mind.
Yeah. To be more open-minded and expand their
Yeah.
minds. It's very, very cool to me because like for years now, that's all I do. It's like I'm hell bent on like fairness, but then I'm like also hell bent on open-mindedness. And I think they kind of go hand in hand as long as, there's a degree of restraint within both of them
Yeah.
that respects the other one.
Yeah.
And I think that I found a pretty good balance for myself. But like I don't know. The open-mindedness is really cool and like having this opportunity where it's like we starting this podcast and it's like there's no specific theme other
Yeah.
than just like that's why like I called it two brothers in a
Yeah.
room because it's like
Literally, yeah.
that's literally what it is. It's just the two of
Yeah.
us sitting in a room
Yeah.
and just talking about stuff. But then like we can lean into maybe we're on vacation and like some crazy golf shit pops off and then it's like we have to talk about this or like
Yeah.
some movie comes out and then we spend a week or two talking about the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But like we literally could just talk about whatever, and I'm game to talk about everything that I know of and everything I don't know about. So it's like allowing you to have the opportunity to sit
Yeah.
down and do it. It's just so cool for me
Yeah.
as like an individual, but then like as a brother, I think that's so
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, yeah, that was like it was like because I caught myself getting really stuck in, like I said, like this pursuit of this thing, which isn't a bad thing, but I needed to, because I've spent so much time almost forcing everything else out that isn't in line with this goal.
Mhm.
I now need to force a certain aspect of it back in my life to not just be stuck on that path. And like my first step was like just getting you here. Like what can I get you to do here just to get you here? And then now, like when I had the idea to do this, it was like to obviously just spend time just so we would like talk more, connect,
Mhm.
but also just selfishly to like force myself to, I don't know, just have other conversations that don't revolve around this thing that I'm so like tunnel visioned on,
Mhm.
and almost like using you because you're I've acknowledged you're a person who just talks about a wide range because we'll just randomly have conversations about the random stuff, and it's like almost using you selfishly to get myself to conversate and open my mind to other stuff
Mhm.
to then benefit myself in this pursuit of this other thing.
Yeah, I get used a lot. I'm used to being used.
Yeah.
that's dark.
Yeah, mutually use it because it's beneficial to.
Yeah. I mean, like in
Yeah,
other
yeah.
interactions with other people is.
But
But yeah, because like almost every time that I'm at grandma's, like I guess one of the things I don't remember if I mentioned it before. If I did, maybe I'll edit that. But like I say it to grandma a lot. I know I say it to grandma a lot because I think most of my talking now is with grandma, um, because I think she's probably the most open-minded person in our family right now, aside from me and aside from you. But I wouldn't classify you as a closed-minded person. You just don't have the conversations because like
yeah,
there's no reason unless you go out of your way to have the conversations.
yeah, because
But
like
grandma's a very open-minded person. Grandpa, not so much. I think mom is, but I think mom likes to play, um, like I don't know what the word is. It's not devil's advocate. Like I'll
she,
say something and she's like immediately like, oh, but what about the other person's opinions? And it's like,
yeah,
I get what you're doing here, but like, anyways, I say to grandma a lot that like coming and being a part of wave change and like I love it. It's like my favorite thing like presently because like how you're being selfish and like using me to have me around and blah 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 blah. I'm doing the same inversely. Like it's I'm gonna go back to a part of a conversation we had a year, almost a year ago. I think it was like maybe late October. We had this conversation. We were in the parking lot downstairs, only the two of us, and it was cold, so I think it was late October. And I'm trying to remember exactly what the saying was. Mm, 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 fuck, it's slipping me. We had a conversation where, oh yeah, where I made an like I identified and I like, I guess I voiced it, where it's like we didn't grow up spiritually. I'm gonna draw a picture and then I'm gonna make the connection. We never grew up in any kind of religious or spiritual environment. You know, like, um, I think I think mom is Catholic. I think the where the family comes from is a Catholic. I don't think it's Christian. Because like grandma used to go to church when she was little, and mom I think was in church for a little, and Karen went to church till she died. Um, but then like mom had kids, me and you, and then she didn't have it as her own habit to go.
yeah,
So it was never shared with us, and the same with dad and dad's whole family. None of them are religious.
yeah.
I mean, like I think Nan has religious stuff in
Surface level
her.
religious.
She has a
Yeah,
cross,
yeah,
they
they don't.
believe in
Yeah,
Jesus and
yeah,
all
they
these
believe in it.
things.
They just don't practice it.
So our conversation, way over here to come back to here to come all the way back over here. So our conversation last year was about like we were never raised with these values and this stuff, and almost at the same time we both kind of came to a spiritual like
Mhm.
awakening. Like you kind of got it through the Christianity side of things, and I got it more so through like what people classify as like spiritual, like the crystals and the astrology and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then I did my crazy research brain shit, and then I like drew a bunch of connections, and then I did a
Yeah,
bunch of blah blah blah, and then I kind of formed my own opinion based off of a whole bunch of other shit. So we had that conversation. It makes me laugh thinking about it because it's like neither of us were like it, and now we're both like it, and we're both like of the same vein. And to draw the conclusion to now, it's like we're both being selfish in our own ways, but it's of the it benefits the same things, and it's selfish. We're both being identical selfishness. You're being selfish because you want to be around your brother, and I'm being selfish because I want to be around my brother.
yeah,
And then we're both using it in our own spots, but then it comes right back to like it's the same thing. And
yeah,
we did it without speaking about it. It like
yeah.
just happened. Like a
It's like
weird
divine. Yeah,
it's like a divine connection. It's
yeah,
so funny. It's just so funny to me.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like if I mean through, I mean just to make the religious connection, like God has a plan. Like we don't know it, but it exists, and like it's stuff like that that like shows me like He does.
Mhm.
Because I was like anti religion. I'll argue it against for so long, and it's like I would have never thought that we would reach the same point together, and like and it's just like clearly there is a bigger plan and a bigger
Yeah.
structure, whether you believe in it's God or not. But
You know who made the biggest prediction for that though?
who
Desi.
really? Oh, she used to say we're gonna be like best friends
Yeah,
one
because
day.
we would like bicker because we were like little
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, and
She
would
always said it.
"Damn,
You
that's
guys gonna be best friends
crazy.
one day.
That's
She's like, mark
crazy.
my words.
Damn,
And we're like, yeah, shut up.
yeah.
look at
'cause
us
you were
now.
so opposite. Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Shout
yeah.
out to Desiree. Yo.
Yeah, facts.
That was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
crazy
well,
shit.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, there's like 4 minutes left in that camera, so
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
think that's a good point. That's a good rounding point. And this was a good one. Definitely got deep.
Yeah.
This is more what I picture, like what in my head was like what I wanted out of this was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just to have this conversation, just kind of like I feel like that like it'll always like it starts. I mean, this is the second time now, but it starts super surface of like the first one we talked about Spirited Away,
Mhm.
Studio Ghibli, and then it just to open the
It'll
door, and
morph
then yeah,
into-
and then it goes
Yeah,
in more.
and I'm sure we'll end up with, like we said it earlier, we're gonna end up with like certain episodes will just really only have certain topics because like
yeah,
for one reason or another, like one of us got really like into a thing and
Yeah.
we want to share it or we want to talk about it, or like maybe we lean into like the art side of things because like when we were talking before when you were finishing that edit and I was talking about like my edits and stuff that I was doing,
yeah,
I was like, oh, this would be cool to talk about on the podcast. But then like I was like, we'll just whatever's gonna happen, like we won't lean too much into like
yeah.
the content side of things for a little while. But then like something like that might happen and we might lean into those
I
conversations.
mean, yeah, it's
but
just super. I like this because this compare like it just like it really like we were saying about conversation. It's like flow state. It is just
Mhm.
real free form. It's like all right, let's just pick something just to start conversating,
Mhm.
and then just naturally it doesn't like at no point did it feel like it doesn't feel forced. It's not like we need to have this conversation. It's just very like we've been going an hour and 45 now.
Yeah.
And it was just like everything just bouncing off, like having a conversation, not like I didn't have things I'm not just saying something, waiting for you to finish speaking so I can
Mhm.
get this apart. It was just having a flow state conversation, which is
Mhm.
which I'm trying to selfishly
Uh,
force back into my life. So appreciate you.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
well,
All right,
we
cool.
got a few minutes. Take us home. Say goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate anybody who happened to watch this. It might just be me and Leland, future us, watching this back, or my kids one day, or Leland's kids one day. I guess subscribe, like. You can watch this every week now. You can listen to anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can listen to it if you choose to listen to us ramble for an hour, 2 hours. Appreciate you guys.
Bye, guys.
Nice.